Alright, this is Andrew Jolly with Jota Home Inspections. We're here today at 6415 South Lombardy Drive doing a sewer scope. We've got the camera pushed out as far as we can get it. We're not all the way to the main line, the city connection. We had to go through two tight turns, and going through bends like that with a sewer scope on a cable, it kind of, once you go through tight bends, it's harder to push the camera all the way out to the main line. I did find a clean out, which I'm not able to find in the yard. If that is something that can be located and dug up so I can access it, I don't mind coming back and re-scoping it from that point. That's why you have multiple clean outs, so that you can access them and access the entire line. But right now, this is as much of the line as we're able to see. So we're going to pull it back now and see what we can see, what we can find. So this looks like a transite pipe. Transite is a cement asbestos pipe. So I saw this pushing on my way out, but you have a cast iron bend right here, and then right after the turn you had a lot of roots. That's what these are. That is something coming in through the joint right there, growing through the joint, and it's closing in on the line. And so as you flush solids through, they can get caught on that root, and that could lead to a backup. And so when you have roots of that size, I recommend having them cleaned out to prevent the backup. We got about, I think it was 70 or 75 feet out or so. An average line is about 100 feet. Some are further, some are shorter. Alright, we just transitioned into some cast iron. This is what is generally going to be under the house, on this edge of a house. The issue with cast iron, as you'll see on the screen, is you'll get rust and sediment that builds up on the pipe, and it gets very rough, and that can catch on debris as you flush it down the line, which can lead to a backup. The other thing is it'll start to flake over time, and it can get very thin. And it can get so thin that sometimes it'll collapse in. Eventually you'll need to put in a liner or replace the pipe completely. I haven't seen any standing water, which is a good sign. That means that everything is draining on its own the way that it should be. That's the second tight turn that I just had to go through. Right off of the access here in the bathroom. There's a clean out right next to the toilet downstairs. And that's where I accessed this today. The second tight bend was right by those roots that we saw on the line. So just to recap, I didn't get all the way to the end of the line. You have a transite cement asbestos pipe and some cast iron. I would recommend having this line maintained and cleaned, because I did find a large root, and that would just help prevent a backup. So I'm going to end this recording now. Oh, and the last thing I'll mention is when you have that cleaned, if you have it hydrojetted, they could re-camera the rest of the line at that same time. Sometimes trying to go through a different angle, like maybe if you had the toilet downstairs pulled up, you'd be able to get out a little further because you'd have one less bend to go through, and that might be just enough to get you to the end of the line. So something to think about. So I'm going to end this recording now.